Hi, I'm Sergio Ochoa. I come from SGO. It's a software developer company. We are based in Madrid, in Spain, so sorry for my English. I don't. We are developing tools for high-end market, in post-production market. From 20 years ago, we started to develop this, and now we are here to present our last children. It's VR tools. And then we have two different products. Now I will show you the power of having full suite of post-production suite with color grading, compositing, even dailies for doing dates, all the process editing in the same tool for show you the power to have all these kind of tools at the same time for having the best quality possible and the full control in your production. But also we have a standalone product for doing only stitching, and it's totally compatible with this suite. So you can choose one or the other solution depending on your project. Okay, we will go directly to the demo. Okay, this is our timeline. You can see you can work with a lot of shots at the same time. You can edit, you can conform your project. You can import and conform from some old software, editorial softwares if you want. And okay, I will start to show you the basic tools. Here we have our rig. This is a GoPro rig. This is each camera. Native from the camera. Okay, we can here where I put RGB levels for convert the data video to the data to video. Here we don't have a video output, but normally you need to control your standard in colorimetry, your output in colorimetry. So we can put in each camera or tools for managing the colorimetry of the camera, of each camera. And then we have a VR Stitch, is our tool for stitching. At the beginning, you can see they put all the cameras in the middle, and we can do the different way or stitch. We can start controlling manually and choose when you want to put each camera or roll the cameras, okay, or pitch. This is interesting, this way, manual way, because if you have your own rig or your own geometry, camera geometry, you can create at the first time your own layout, create your perfect layout for your rig or your camera rig, and then save as a preset. And after this, the preset you can reuse for every shot. But this way, this manual way is important for having the power of shooting with any rig. Even this doesn't exist today, you can create your own rig for your special shoot of your project, and you can create your layout yourself. Also, we can import layout, but import stitching we will see after from PTW or different kind of stitch software, or the static photographic stitching software for having the metadata of the lens distors or whatever. If you want to mix different tools, we can import this metadata and start working at this point. Okay, we will reset all this. And as I know this rig is a GoPro rig, I can go to presets. Okay, and then camera preset, I create Jet and GoPro Cube, and simply double click, and you have your camera setup ready. Now we need to control the horizon. With Control key, we can control our configuration or rotate the horizon. Okay, for example. And here I will explain a little bit the interface. We have two different layouts, overlays. This overlay is for showing the area, the cover area of each camera, with the name camera 5, camera 1, camera 2. Okay, and the other layout is the stitching areas. And the red line is the stitch area. on the original stitch area, and the green one is, the green one is in which area we will apply or optical flow stitching for improve the stitch in between the camera, or in this case is a near camera stitching, is a kind of fade between the cameras to analyze the stitching point. Or if you have here, for example, you can see, okay, we have the geometry problems or parallax problems, and with the stitch fader, we can see what happened in the 2 cameras or 3 cameras involved in this point. Okay, also the nearest mode camera is very useful for doing dailies, you know, because this is fast and it's enough quality for doing dailies from camera to work with this kind of stitch. Okay, it's not for final stitch, but for dailies is enough. Okay, so there are the 2 layouts, and now I remove the layout. The first thing we can do is even if I loaded all the data in all the camera, you can see each camera with its position or geometry position. You can change it. You can modify it for perfect stitching or manually if you want after import your layout or your preset. Oh, sorry. But also we have improved alignment, because even with the same rig in the same day, if it's hot or it's cold the day, the geometry of the rig change, the optics, the optics of the camera change its responsivity on different optics. Even if the same optic or the same manufacturer, is not perfectly exactly the same optics. So we need to always to do some special adjustment for each shot for each day. So improved alignment help us to reposition the camera. They do an analysis between the overlap areas of the camera, and they put automatically, it propose you a solution, and then here we don't have anymore the problem. And now here we have another problem, it's a parallax problem. Always we will have a parallax problem when we have objects near the camera and far the camera. It's inherent of the VR shooting. And for that, now we can enter in optical flow for work directly in the scenes. Okay, we enter in optical flow, and I grow the area of optical flow, and you can see no parallax. The parallax problem is solved automatically. And you can control the power of how many power you want to put in the optical flow for all the areas, and we have optical flow parameters for manage all the details for more powerful. If you have a far distance, a very different distance with the 2 objects, we can put more strong or soft or smooth, and we have a lot of control even in near terms. You can see how they reconstruct. And one thing very important is to have interactivity when we do that, because you need to see the response of the software. If you have adding artifacts with most optical flow, for example, in a fast moving object, it's very important. Don't lose your time to doing heavy renders and then see, oh shit, we have a lot of problems with objects that go from one camera to the other. Here in our solution, you have interactivity. You can see directly what is happening.
This is a master, and then you have all the cameras.
No, I have all the separate cameras. Yes, this is one camera.
Okay, but what you're controlling is a master, and then you can...
Yes, of course. See, the stitch fader, I control a master of all the stitch camera. Okay. Yeah, in the future, in the next version, we are working also to have a asymmetric optical flow applying. because even if we have a stitch without movement, we don't need a lot of motion estimation or optical flow inside there. But in the other side, maybe yes, because we have a very close object, and here we need to put strong parameters, and then the other stitch we don't need it. Now we can solve this the easy way, because Mystica we have a compositing tools, and we have a color grading tools, and you can apply, you can construct your tree or effects around your stitch without rendering. So you can do 5 different stitches with 5 different strengths of optical flow, for example, and then mask it and composite and change. Okay. This is the basic stitch. After you can put 20 stitches at the same time if you want to change, or compositing or rotoscoping some area and put it in a different depth. When we do stereoscopic VR, we will see after with another example in real stereoscopic VR. This is 2D, and in stereoscopic this more complex workflow, but we will see now. And also with this example, I think also we can control the camera, the camera color match. And here we have as GoPro is semi-automatic aperture, we can do a match color. Okay, he does. I don't know if you see it in the screen, the difference. Yes, and it's we will do a match color. Match color change camera per camera. The gain stops, the temperature and the tint of each camera. But after we have a master control in the output camera, and you can recover information, for example, for changing the stop before the output, for recover the highlight areas, for example, in this case. Maybe you want to start with these stops, and then put a color grading tool over the stitch. Okay, and start grading, recovering the highlights or whatever. And in this case, as you can see, I put a color grading. You want to?
Yeah, I cannot understand totally. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So now we are adding a color grading tool on the top for managing of the colorimetry, or the grading tool for all the cameras at the same time, for our master VR lat-long solution. And of course, we can see that in a VR visor, VR way, and then we can navigate and see. Okay. See what happened in our stitch. We can change also the focal length of our VR visor, because there are different helmets or different apertures, and then you can simulate exactly your helmet inside the software. And also, I don't have this functionality just now, but also you can stream directly in real time. You can stream your work to the helmet, so you can work with a DOP near you, or even in another country, and show you your session of color grading in real time, streaming your work, your interface. And then you can show this, and okay, we will go to start to grading this horseman, and I don't know, doing maybe a shape. Sorry. Okay, doing grading only this part of the, okay, and send to the helmet directly the result of our grading session, for example. Okay, it's not a perfect shape, but okay. And also, okay, that kind of thing we can do it with another software. or to finish a stitch and to send to a color grading suite and start grading. But here we have the power of putting also grading tools in each camera, if we want. I want to add, for example, for 2 cameras, you have different colorimetry in the shooting, on the side, some side or the other side. We can control camera per camera or grading. So, for example, camera 2, I need more light in camera 2. Or we can control. And I apply the color grading before the stitching and the optical flow. That allows us also to have control, because the optical flow technology use the luminance information of the image for having the best result. So it's a good technique to have this control camera per camera, because if you have problems in one stitch, maybe changing the luminance information before doing the stitch, you got it. And you have your perfect stitching, and after you return to your colorimetry. After the process of stitching, you can recover your colorimetry of this camera.
You put the checking for this mask?
But, sorry?
This one. Right. This mask. You put another filter on it?
Another?
Filter, another function.
To put a color grading, yes. A color grading node. This is our color grading with primaries, secondaries, bands, range. Is a full color grading tool we have in our suite.
So you could copy this mask and add another effects?
Yes, of course. Of course. Yes, you can create your shape, for example, your mask. You can create in planar mode, as I do now, but you can create also, this is a planar shape. The behavior is like a normal shape for 2D production, but we can create also a lat long shape, and the lat long shape react to the deformation of the VR footage. So that allows us, for example, is you need to have a square mask. In VR, the square is deformed. You have a strange shape. Don't you need to put a lot of point to create this shape? And with a lat long shape, you create a square, real square, and the software do the projection. And then you don't mind, the square is here.
This will be the same shape?
Yes. And they recognize that, and then when we enter in VR mode, this is you recognize the planar shape we draw the first time. So even for the colorist, they don't need to learn a new way to doing secondaries or masking areas, because they change only lat long mode, and they work similar to the 2D production. And this kind of shape is not only for color grading, it's for everything, for compositing, for removing the problems in nadir in the back, and to reconstruct nadir, or for doing compositing or adding text or whatever, VFX effects. Because the shape is always here in the software. You have a shape is here, and shapes is not for color grading. The shape is even in the footage. You have shapes. And VR, you have shapes, so you can add shapes or mask whatever in every step of your work for doing compositing. Or okay, we will go to another example. That's a different rig for playing with different kind of camera. This is also rig. So we go to preset. I have yet my also group, my also preset, and then double click, okay, and they propose our basic also setup. Double click, and they apply directly to the VR stitch. And we have here our first geometrical camera setup. We close this, we go to options to see the stitch further. Okay. And now we can see here we have a geometry problem. That's it. Here also you can see there are basic misalignment of the image. Here we have double image. It's normal with parallax. It's usual to have this. And see, let me go to the specific frame. Tick. I found that before.
Those
Yes.
package you need to synchronize first.
Synchronize?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, if you don't. Okay, we have a synchronize tool also. If you don't have synchro cameras, you can. Yes, I don't show it here, but I can show you after.
It has all the 360 production workflow.
Absolutely. Yes, and the idea is the power of having all the tools for all the workflow, from the dailies, for example, to treatment for rashes, to treat these rashes, to change, to manage the colorimetry of these rashes. These different cameras, so different. We have all the native real-time. We can read each camera of the market in real-time, native raw formats, and we can change all space, color space. If you mix cameras, we have a unicolor technology that we can put all different cameras in the same color space and the same gamut with a especially Swiss knife. We are in Swiss now, and Swiss knife color grading tool. That is the tool for the beginning for creating your dailies and to send to editorial team. And after you can conform this with your edit, and then start to doing final online grading, online stitching, and grading your color grading and compositing and deliveries. Okay, you have all tools, and you have the power to compositing, to remove artifacts, to remove rigs or whatever in the scene, to add text, to add the VFX, to export plates for VFX in all kind of formats, or cube or whatever. Yes, you can control all the production inside. Okay, here we have the basic also setup. Okay, you can see here. I will go close to see the different problems. We have maybe a geometric problem here. She's coming near us in this shot. Also, we have a double image. In this case, okay, we will start to doing a sample improve alignment. Improve alignment and color match is an iterative algorithm. So you can click one, twice, three times, and he improve. So if he starts for the last solution, and he tries to improve. And normally with 2-3 clicks, you have perfect improvement, alignment. In this case, one click is more or less good. I can do one more time, maybe he can, okay. Now we have, I think, not so bad stitch in the horizon, the background, but here she's coming too close to the camera. And she is entering the back, in the down camera, and we have a lot, I think, several problems here. Here we are now quite good in this parallax problem. Okay, and now we will do match color also. Why not? Okay, maybe here we have a different color. Okay. After we can modify manually this, or put in a color grading layer for touching, tricking the final quality. Again, we will go to see what happened with this scene when another point here, the problem is bigger. You can see in she's very close to us. Okay, You can see we have a problem. And then, here, the first step, you can try to activate optical flow for see what happens, and start doing that. But in this case, it's too much near the camera. And we have the problem is, in this case, is in the shooting time, she is crossing or stitch line between 4 cameras, different cameras. You know, she's in the crossroads of 4 cameras. Okay, for do that, we have a very powerful tool. At this, we can change the position of our stitch line. And then I select camera 7, in this case, for example, and I can add edge point. Here we have a tool, add a point, and then we can add a point. And here we can push or stitch area. Oh, sorry. If we do a bake output camera. Now, as you can see, we can push the line or stitch line and avoid the stitch line to touch or person or character, or actor in this case. Okay, for example, and we can modify the radius. Now, let me do. My computer is a little bit slow. Okay, we can modify the radius or for point edge point area. Okay, to protect one area and push over still line to avoid problems in this case. Obviously, all these parameters are animable. We can animate all this. Okay, so normally you can manage one problem for one problem in one stitch, and then you can animate and change your setup for push the image a little bit near, far the camera, far the us or near us. And with animation, you can solve almost everything.
There's a moment when you don't have the picture, it's between two cameras, and you can't go and because you don't have the face on the other camera. No?
No, in this case, you can see.
Yeah,
right. Okay, you can animate this point and follow her. And this is we have a moment where we don't have enough overlap information. You can add in the other camera, in this case, camera 8, I can add another edge point. You can add 5 edge points, 10, whatever. All point what you need, and maybe you can push or you can move the stitch area, or start here with the 2 points at the same time, and then move your point for follow the actor over the other camera. Oh yeah, absolutely. You need overlap, enough overlap for doing that. But it's depending on the camera rig. Or if you work, for example, with 16 camera rigs, it's better because you have a lot of redundancy of image, and then you are sure you can recover from one camera or other camera. And also with more camera rigs, you can do a post-production. In post-production, you can have a stereoscopic footage, getting a part of the camera and recreate the space with different perspective point of its camera. So minus cameras and minus control. Because this is a rig with 14 cameras, no, 13 cameras, and stereo pair cameras. There are 2 cameras for having good stereoscopic, and 2 cameras. They have 5 stereo pairs, and then 1 for zenith and 2 for try to clean the tripod or whatever. Okay, we will do the same. As I know my rig, my prototype, I create a preset, basic preset. That's called code version 1. Okay, and I load my preset. And in this case, I will show you the tree. I have stereo pairs. In this case, with the camera is rotated 19 degrees, and I have a stereo pair, 5 stereo pair. And for that, I put a stereo 3D effects. We have a Mystica. It's a very powerful tool for control your stereoscopic footage. We used 12 years ago. We developed this for film for 3D film market. Okay, and then we have all the tools for control the geometric adjustment and then stereoscopic pair, colorimetry, match color, even optical flow for change the camera position, increase the depth, reduce the depth. We have a very extensive tool set in VR. Yeah, in 3D. There are here a lot of parameters for manage with a lot of control in stereoscopic shooting. So we will provide this for VR because we can control each stereo pair of our VR separately. Then we have control of the depth of each pair of camera, and then we can control the fade between the cameras, having the VR stitch for manage all together and put in the same place. And then for that, I can show you. This is left, right. But I yet doing some adjustment here. I can remove. I show you in black and white anaglyph this process because it's more clear. This is the geometry, original camera geometry. So this is not perfect aligned. You can see here. This is a prototype. It was constructed in 1 day. So the physically the rig is not perfect. There are a lot of things. So with one click in match geometry, the Mystica can solve all this kind of geometry problem. Okay, then we can start in one click to control our rig, or even manually to try to fit better. Okay, and then to control the depth. We have, sorry, I saw you the image. Control the depth of our footage and doing the 3D grading of each stereo pair. And we can do this for each 5 stereo pairs, okay? And then we put a VR stitch module over all this kind of this stereo pair, and we can start control our stitch in a stereoscopic stitch. For example, okay, the process and the workflow is similar to 2D. We have our area, with stitch area. We can see we have a colorimetry problem. This is a GoPro rig. Now we can start to match color. Okay. We can do also, or we will try to find the. Here there are problems, geometry problems. You can see the mixed camera. Here, for example, we have 3 different perspectives of the deformation for the different optics. Here also we have a lot of problems. Here we have geometric problems. We try to fit with an improved alignment. Okay, now it's better. We continue having 2 or 3 copies of the image because this part of the image is in 3 cameras. So the double image is normal, but now it's better in terms of geometry. We can start to. This is, for example, enough for a daily stitch, for a press stitch. For start to editorial is 2 clicks, and you do fast 2-click preset geometry and render and send out. This level to nearest camera, we call nearest camera, is for me, it's very useful to doing dailies or pre-stitching, finding problems in shooting time, because you can go to the shooting with your laptop and try to analyze your geometry problem before start shooting, for example. Or even here we have a problem. We try to align again. Well, that's a little bit better, but I don't know. For example, if we try to do manually, the camera 5, we'll try to fit it manually. For example, pushing the pitch As you see, in each step, I have interactivity. That's very important because it's the operator. It's not the software. I like the software can allow me to control. At the end of each detail, you can control the automatic things. Never works for all projects, you know. And here we mix we do an automatic improvement element. Okay, that helps you to win a little bit time, but finally I want to control my stitch or my process. For that we have a lot of parameters. Maybe that could be complex, but it's very powerful to have all this control. Okay, we'll say that this geometric is okay, and now we change for online stitching. We will change to optical flow warping, and now we can see here in the windows the difference to pre-stitch. I don't know if you can see the pre-stitch quality and the optical flow quality. And then you can control the power of this. Maybe in this case, if I remove the optical flow setup, I see maybe I can trick a little bit manually to put better the camera, for example, and that helps a lot the software for doing that. But if you don't have time to do that, optical flow can do it for you.
What about the rendering process? That's all the formats, all the codecs?
Absolutely. We have we can go to output menu, and in the output menu you can we have our own format that Mystica. We have a raw format proprietary for if you have 10 Mystica in your post-production facility for interchange, and it's very fast and guarantee the real time, even if you have a segmented hard disk. This format, but after that we have a AVI movie, custom movies. You have for ProRes, MP4, and QuickTime movies. You can have for daily, for example, ProRes LT. It's very useful, or where you have all formats, or G2K image for sending to a DCP process for project your. This I think I do in some presentation with a cinema projector, professional cinema projector. I propose an experience or VR experience animating the camera, and I project in a stereoscopic projector cinema with the glasses, and then you can simulate a virtual simulation, a virtual experience in a huge screen, for example. And then here we have a DCP software also included in the software, so you don't need to get out the software. Just render your GP 2K format in X, Y, Z color space and get the. For example, this is not a workflow for VR, it's for another things, but you have all. Even EXR is an advanced workflow. We can open EXR files with all layers come from Compositing or for 3D software, CGI graphics, and then you can color grading, touching it, separating each object or jet monsters you are added to your scene, because the color grading tool allow us to work with EXR, stereoscopic EXR workflow. For example, our customer, like I don't know, Bat Robot or something like this, they are doing the Star Wars or this kind of film, and then they manage all this color grading of this huge production with this tool. So the only thing we do now is adding a VR tool for stitching, but all the rest of the workflow is a professional workflow for high-end post-production quality. And yes, DAPX, well, and we can return here for seeing again the most habitual problem is the parallax. Here we can see this is a typical problem of all shooting. We have a good stitch for the far objects, but when I have a near object camera like this, Or we have the problem, the parallax problem, and also some geometric problems. And then again, we can fit it with motion estimation with a very, very high quality.
How do you patch
En français, c'est plus facile pour moi. Ah, okay. Good question. Okay, we have a VR stitch, sorry, and also we have another tool that is VR view. It's a simple camera view, and then we can extract a camera, okay, for post-production or compositing purpose. For example, we have in the nadir. This nadir is not so good. Let me. I don't show you one more thing about each camera is the weight of the camera. Also, another problem is you allow the software to decide for you which camera is in front of the other camera. When you have objects that cross the camera from left to right, that's work. But when the object cross to right to left, doesn't work because you choose this camera over this camera. So by default in our tools, it's clever. The software analyzes the moment of crossing the cameras, and he puts automatically one camera over the other. Okay, but if you need to control this, for example, in Nadir, here we have two cameras overlapping with the same information, and the tripod is 3 times in 3 cameras, and then we can change the weight manually, trying to say, I know. I prefer the other camera, the other camera in front of the okay, and then we can choose this, and that helps a lot for removing things of the camera. Not only for better stitching, from right to left to right object, but also for doing that, because we can export 2 nadirs with VR view. For example, this is one export. We can export the other, sorry. We can export that, and then we have almost work do it, because I have left side of the screen of the image clear after I export the other side. Okay, and then I composite with a mask or whatever. Let me try another example, please. Another image. For showing that, okay. I will show you after, but I will show this example. This is another typical example. I have a preset for this camera, but what happened? There are the cameras not in the good position because I create a preset, but this day I changed the position of the camera in my rig. I construct the rig and the camera shifted. The 3 is 2, the 2 is 3, and then no problem because we can click a camera and change the position. You can change the position of the camera if you have a preset, but you change. That happened. Each day you change the camera because. Okay, and here. Okay. We can rotate or try to find. Yes, of course. Yes, you have here. You have a tracking. Okay, and you have a 2-point tracking for stability. I will show you after you want with another, because this is static camera. We don't have anything to stabilize. Okay, here we have the same. We put our setup. We do the match color for start. Okay, let's start. That seems better. A little bit improve alignment. Here we have this misalignment. That's it. That seems to be good. We can test it, moving our cameras or whatever. Okay, it's okay for first step. Now, Here we have our tripod. We will try to remove this, it's more easy. Okay. So we can navigate to see or stitch or. Okay, we still, as normal, we have a double image. Okay, we change to optical flow and fit it. And we can read all the stitch line. Here we'll see no stitch. Okay, and now we try to clear nadir. So I add VR view. It's a camera view. I do pitch. Sorry. Pitch. For example, that's okay. We can change the camera focal to have more or less resolution. Also, we can control. This is very important. I forgot to tell this. We can have, for example, create a project with 4K master for our output. We decide to have a 4K master, for example, or 8K master, but normally we will say or 2K master. But inside the software, we can manage different resolution. So if I want to have a very good quality, I can control here the custom resolution. For example, for sport, for nadirs, or for VFX, even I need to export even a 12K image or have all the resolution of all my cameras, and not reduced resolution. So one thing is your project size or your project output, but inside your project you can decide here to work in 12K resolution. For example, we put some preset. You can see 12, 4K, 2K, DCP formats, or whatever. But we can work in 2 and 12K. So all the process we will do in 12K. So until the end. So it's only in the moment of render you reduce that, and you can control with a tool we call framing. You can control the quality and the aliasing quality they produce. And then when you composite graphics or CGI object, that's very important, because if you don't do that this way, you will have a low quality in the output. And I recommend, even if your setup is 4K or 2K for work fast in your interface, inside you can decide, depending on your rig. If you have a 20 camera rig, you can go to 20 or 30K project during the production, during the stitching. So you can share all the camera information of all the cameras, and of course the depth of the information in color grading is you export an EXR 16 bits, for example. And then you can do all your workflow in the best quality until the end. And then it's only for deliveries, you need to reduce the quality for helmet or whatever. Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Ochoa, sorry for cutting you, but you can
Finish?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. 1 minute for sure. Okay. So we have this sport. Maybe I can put, for example, a vector paint. And open our painting tools. Okay. I'm doing a clone 4. We need to do fast this. Okay, and I take this information, I copy. Okay. I normally work better. Yes, this is a vector paint. Okay, you can do that. You see, in this moment I put only points. Each point is a vector, or maybe I can paint. Okay, I can paint like this, and then I have a vector. So this vector is, I can animate, I can get fixed or track it. For moving camera, I can track my retouch of camera, I recover information and track and go to the camera. Yes, or you can do one frame by frame. And here you got adding keys for selected shape, for all shape, one frame you can add here keyframes, animate or whatever, or tracking.
Couple minutes. So can copy this effects for more seconds.
Yes, of course. Yes, here with all shape, you can add key all shape. That's all. Or you can track in a point or put in your shape, your native plane to this point. Or at this point, I will show you for finish. I will show you only the MV effects. We have 100 effects. Blue screen. That's the power. You can do anything that you do in normal compositing stuff, but in VR. They're full integrated in the normal workflow. Color grading, VR, compositing, mixing, tracking.